We all know the Kennedy name. We hear it and immediately think presidents, senators, first ladies. But what about the next generation? What about the kids of Eunice Kennedy Shriver, the woman who created the Special Olympics and carved out a legacy that wasn't about politics, but about people? Stick around, because these stories will surprise you. Number 5. Bobby Shriver. Born on April 28, 1954. Growing up, Bobby watched his mother create summer camps for kids with disabilities on their farm. Instead of political rallies, he grew up surrounded by laughter, therapy ponies, and volunteer counselors. He once said he was tired of being called JFK's nephew. He wanted people to know him for his work, not his bloodline. After Yale and Yale Law, Bobby did what nobody expected. He went into entertainment and venture capital, produced a few Hollywood movies, bought into the Baltimore Orioles baseball team. Oh, and raised over $100 million for the Special Olympics through charity albums like A Very Special Christmas. But here's where it got messy. When Bobby jumped into public office, running for Santa Monica City Council, then later LA County Supervisor, people couldn't see past his last name. Every headline screamed Kennedy nephew, not activist, not human rights champion, just Kennedy. It was like wearing a label he couldn't peel off. So Bobby leaned into what he did best: action. He didn't just make promises, he cleaned up Santa Monica's Bay, fought for homeless veterans, sued the state to save public parks. And while he lost the supervisor race to Sheila Quayle in 2014, he left a permanent mark on his city. Maybe Bobby didn't get the big political office, but he helped co-found RED with Bono, the campaign that raised over $700 million to fight AIDS. If you've ever bought a red iPhone case or a red t-shirt from Gap, you've helped Bobby's cause. Number 4. Maria Shriver. Born on November 6, 1955. As a kid, Maria bounced between Washington, D.C., Europe, and her family's massive social circles. But inside, she was just a normal girl who loved stories and asked way too many questions, something her teachers and later her bosses definitely noticed. She went to Georgetown University, studied American Studies, and then jumped straight into the tough world of TV news. After grinding it out at local TV stations, she finally landed at NBC News and became a recognizable face on national television. She co-anchored The Today Show, hosted Olympic coverage, and earned a Peabody Award for serious reporting. But even with all her success, life had other plans. When her husband, Arnold Schwarzenegger, decided to run for governor of California, Maria had to walk away from her journalism career. NBC couldn't have a political candidate's wife reporting the news. In a snap, everything she had built for decades was gone. And just when it seemed like things had settled, another bombshell hit. Her marriage fell apart in front of the entire world. Arnold admitted to having a child outside their marriage. Suddenly, Maria was everywhere: headlines, gossip shows, late-night jokes. Instead of hiding, Maria went to work on herself and for others. She threw herself into causes she cared about, like Alzheimer's research after her father's diagnosis, and women's health. She produced Emmy-winning documentaries, created major campaigns like the Women's Alzheimer's Movement, and became a loud voice for caregivers, single mothers, and women fighting for a seat at the table. She even stepped back into the public eye, on her own terms, writing books, giving speeches, launching the Sunday paper, a newsletter focused on inspiration, activism, and real stories. Number 3. Timothy Shriver. Born on August 29, 1959. Growing up, Timothy didn't dream of politics or fame. His biggest memories are from his mom's backyard, when dozens of kids with intellectual disabilities would come over for summer camp. For Timothy, those kids weren't different. They were just friends. He carried that spirit with him, through Yale, through a PhD, through years of teaching in public schools. But no matter how far he went, he kept hearing the same quiet call: do more. When Timothy took over the Special Olympics in the mid-90s, People weren't sure it even needed to exist anymore. Some said it was outdated. Others whispered it was too much charity, not enough change. There was pressure on him: modernize, or risk the whole thing fading into the past. Instead of scrapping it, Timothy did something smarter. He evolved it. He created unified sports, where athletes with and without disabilities competed together, not against each other. He made sure healthcare, education, and leadership training were baked right into the Special Olympics model. He didn't just want people to play sports. He wanted them to live, to work, to lead. Fast forward to today, and thanks to Timothy's leadership, Special Olympics now touches over 6 million athletes across more than 200 countries. It's no longer just an event. It's a global movement for dignity, equality, and inclusion. Number 2. Mark Shriver. Born on February 17, 1964. Growing up, Mark watched his parents change the world. His dad started the Peace Corps. His mom founded Special Olympics. Service wasn't optional in the Shriver house. It was expected. It was the family business. Mark rolled up his sleeves early. In Maryland, he launched a program called The Choice to help kids who were in trouble with the law get a second shot at life. Not headlines, not fancy press conferences, just quietly helping teenagers find jobs and stay out of jail. That love for helping kids pushed him into politics. In 1994, he ran for Maryland's House of Delegates and crushed it. He spent 8 years writing laws to protect children, pushing for better schools, safer neighborhoods, real stuff that made life better for families. In 2002, Mark made his big move. He ran for Congress. Everyone thought he had it in the bag: money, connections, charisma. It was his race to lose. And then, he lost. He lost the Democratic primary to Chris Van Hollen by just a few thousand votes. It wasn't just a political loss, it was a gut punch. Mark later said losing that race felt like a public death. But instead of disappearing into bitterness, Mark did what real leaders do. He picked himself up. He switched gears, joining Save the Children, one of the biggest nonprofits on the planet. And he didn't just sit in a fancy office. He got to work, building programs to help poor kids in rural America get better health care, early education, and support during natural disasters. Later, he created Save the Children Action Network, SCAN, a political action group laser-focused on kids' issues. Mark wanted SCAN to be like the NRA, but for children. Today, Mark is still at it, still fighting for kids who don't have lobbyists, still marching into Washington demanding pre-K funding, better health care, better futures. And in 2021, he added a new title to his list: President of Don Bosco Cristo Rey High School, helping low-income students get a shot at college and a better life. Number 1. Anthony Shriver. Born on July 20th, 1965. He went through Georgetown Prep, then Georgetown University, pulling off a double major in theology and history. But the real education he got wasn't in a classroom. It was watching how a little dignity and friendship could totally transform a life. And that's what sparked the idea that would change the world. Anthony looked around and realized something heartbreaking. Sure, there were big Special Olympics events a couple times a year. But what about the other 363 days? Most people with intellectual disabilities lived lonely, isolated lives. No invitations, no real friends, no chances to belong. And honestly, no one was really trying to fix it. In 1989, Anthony took a leap of faith and launched Best Buddies International, a tiny nonprofit built on one simple but radical idea. Friendship can change everything. At first, it was scrappy. A few chapters, a few dozen volunteers. Anthony personally recruited students, built partnerships, begged for funding, and knocked down doors wherever he could. Over the years, Best Buddies exploded into a global movement. Friendship programs, job training, leadership academies, inclusive housing, all aimed at making sure people with intellectual and developmental disabilities got the same shot at life as everyone else. He wasn't just building an organization, He was building a culture shift. Today, Best Buddies is in over 45 countries, has nearly 1 million participants, and has created thousands of life-changing friendships and careers. Anthony's dream, that no one should be left standing on the sidelines, has become a reality for millions. And he didn't stop there. He launched huge campaigns like delivering jobs, partnering with companies like Disney and Starbucks to create 1 million new leadership and employment opportunities for people with disabilities. Life wasn't always perfect. Anthony went through personal struggles too, including a public divorce. But through it all, he never let go of the mission. Even now, he's still out there, hosting Best Buddies challenges, riding 100-mile bike races, raising millions, and speaking around the world, fighting for a future where everybody belongs. They remind us that no matter where you come from, what matters is what you give.